Hey everybody, hope you're having a lovely end of the year doomer day. This is Una, who I adopted this year. She's a year or two old Manx, and she's been a delight. Lots of play. She's been introduced to dogs, traveled the country, just overall a good cat. Today, I just wanted to do something a little more fun and go through an opinion piece I found in ID, written 3 weeks ago, an opinion piece from Laura Pitcher. In fact, it was written in September, but for some reason I'm getting the update now. ID is a publication subsidiary of Vice, and I don't know who Laura Pitcher is, but I do know that Timothy Chalamet said that societal collapse is in the air. So let's get to it. 2022, the year of rot. From doom scrolling and decaying fashion trends to rotting in bed memes, all this chat about rot reflects a very real mental health crisis. Last month, 19-year-old TikTok creator Charlotte described it officially rotting in my room session, while undeniably referring to the social hibernation that can come from colder weather. For many young people, last winter's rot turned into an entire 2022 of rotting, a phrase that's become to describe staying inside during depressive episodes. Rotting in bed or rotting in my room has become mental health shorthand that's permeated online culture. If you're not coming across multiple rotting in bed memes, you might be complaining of technological brain rot or even wearing some of the current fashion trends that resemble decay. This year, the internet rotted from the inside out. So what does that say about our mental health? Well, the phrase rotting online has become internet anti-aesthetic, similar to its predecessor, goblin mode, which is Oxford's 2022 year word of the year. Like goblin mode, rotting has ties to Reddit posts as far back as the early 2010s. While others are out making memories they will cherish forever, I am rotting away in my room alone, one person wrote in a depression forum over 5 years ago. While many rotting memes are humorous depictions of life away from social media's curated lens, it comes as a little surprise that rotting is trending at a time when apps like Be Real are showing us how many of our friends spend their days in bed. The phrase has become a socially acceptable way for people to talk about the most pressing mental health issues of our time, including loneliness, depression, and suicidal ideation. See a tweet here and someone else commenting that they are rotting in bed, in which Timothy Chalamet said, "Big day," with a smiley face. Jamie Cohen, assistant professor of media studies at Queens College, New York, says that aside from the studies that point to a rise in diminishing mental health, the rise of cost of living merged with the decay of social media has opened the door for more expression of our displeasure out in the open. These rot memes are very blatant expressions of mental anguish in a way that's cynical, ironic, simultaneously honest. He says, quote, "Memes are cultural surplus, so when we max out on ways to express ourselves conventionally, we make up reductive media online." Jamie says that Gen Z's openness and acceptance of discussion of mental health topics also enable more rot posts and memes, with rot being a form of aglo speak to avoid content moderation or flagging for concern. Continuing, after countless lockdowns, young people around the world are using social media more than ever before. This has created a cycle of rot, with doom scrolling causing anxiety and the culture of comparison and cyberbullying online becoming a rising mental health concern for children and teenagers. The irony, however, that social platforms have become a dominant force of self-expression, making the source of some of our issues also the platforms we turn to talk to about them. I think rotting conversation is a way of recognizing we aren't alone and that others have the similar feelings, says Cohen. This conversation would have been taboo a decade ago when we were posting our best lives creating FOMO. Now we're using social media to come up for some air every so often. Jennifer Reed, a Philadelphia-based psychiatrist and the host of Reflective Doc podcasts, says that the number of individuals struggling with anxious thoughts, depressive moods, and insomnia increases. There's a parallel increases in voices sharing the difficulty experience of modern life online. If memes or online humor are able to discuss the challenge of human condition in an inclusive way to bring together rather than isolating individuals, they could be a powerful force for relief, increased awareness, and eventual change. She explains. Jennifer says that humor can be an important weapon against apathy and hopelessness, but the next steps include decrease the stigma of mental illness, limiting disinformation about psychiatric disease, and increasing access to affordable, high-quality treatment. Continuing, while meme culture has long been a coping measure for navigating the perils of modern life, trending Instagram accounts like Suffering Meat showcase an increased desire for the internet to implode on itself in the grossest, messiest way possible. It's why some of the biggest celebrities of our time are shitposting, and why Elon Musk's early moves on Twitter were met with complete memification. It's also why letting it rot has been trending on Chinese social media channels this year, as young people lean into self-indulgence and open decay away from the pleasures of unattainable life expectations. In an era of mass information and overstimulation, rotting is the visual reaction to the madness. Joshua Klepow, a clinical psychologist, performance coach, and creator of the account Mental Drive, says that even the process of ignoring information from social media is a brain processing exercise. Continuing, quote, endless scrolling, which most of us have fallen victim to at one time or another, is an example of how our brains are pulled in when information, whether it's good or bad, relevant or irrelevant, is put in front of us, he says. We have less patience for long-form information and get easily distracted from the onslaught of information that comes us from every direction. Jennifer describes scrolling as junk food for our brains. If you're really hungry, you are much better off looking for nutrient-rich food, because junk will only satisfy you momentarily. She says, noting the activities more likely to build healthy relationships, engagement, and meeting are the nutrient-rich food. In metaphor, in other words, we're posting about rot because our brains quite literally feel like they're rotting. If 2022 was the year of the rot, or a sign that our emotional and mental states are being taxed, Joshua hopes that 2023 will be the year that we say to ourselves, quote, that our mental health collectively needs much more attention. This, of course, is near impossible for individuals to navigate alone against a backdrop of impending recession, climate doom, and the feelings of overall societal collapse. With this in mind, it's less about each person pulling themselves out of the rot than it is about collective organizing to cut out the source of rot altogether. The billionaires and people in power that keep us in a state of perpetual rot. Until then, you'll find people that rotting in their rooms and posting about it on the very apps that are flies circulating the rotting carcasses. I don't really see any hope. We are not a collective mass. We can't organize. They design the systems so that you are literally isolated, atomized individuals working paycheck to paycheck. There is absolutely no hope of coming together. Okay? So we will continue to rot while our environment rapidly and exponentially breaks down on every measure imaginable in front of our eyes.
Meat sauce.
Well, this has been my last article of 2022. Be safe tonight. Don't drink and drive. You still have one foot in the Matrix. And I'll talk to you guys next year. Cheers. See you later.